Which team will emerge victorious this Sunday at the Super Bowl? Yes, we can actually say those words out loud without fear of being punished for copyright infringement. It's not really that important for the moment because, as usual, the game itself is being somewhat overshadowed by controversy, news off the field that has little to do with another player being sent home for allegedly seeking the services of someone working in the world's oldest profession. Happens every Super Bowl. More than just numbers and game notes, let's welcome back the man who started the concept of covering and commenting on sports business, the only individual not caught up in discussion over if Lady Gaga should sing the national anthem, to which I say, what's the problem? Welcome in the sports professor, Rick Horrow. You're okay with Lady Gaga, right?
I'm okay with everything in life. $2,500 face, I've got it, and you don't.
That's quite all right.
Like
okay, one of these days we'll start talking about how many of these Super Bowls each of us have been to, and we'll trade stories, and then we'll get into that.
Well, that's just you're older, that's all.
Yeah, okay. Who's got the gray hair? Let's move on. Roger Goodell announces on Thursday that the league will institute a Rooney Rule for women when it comes to all NFL executive positions. Rick, the only thing is, I hear from a lot of people already, they're wondering, does this really have any teeth in it? What exactly are the items behind it? It hasn't been formalized. Some people think this is just pandering to the female fan. What do you think?
Well, they're wrong, and the reason why they're wrong is because there have been a couple of coach hires already, not executives, but coach hires of women. It takes a while for these rules to trickle down because it takes a while for the training to catch up and the seriousness to catch up. There would be sanctions. Some teams will go through the motions. Some will be serious about it. The Dolphins have a very capable woman, Donna Ponte, as a capologist and a business person already. So this is a first step that is A, because it's the right thing to do, and B, if you're cynical, 41% of the NFL fans are women, and you want to make sure that this is representative. Both of those arguments are pretty good as far as I'm concerned.
Didn't you just hit it, though? 41% of NFL fans are women. There's a feeling that the male demographic has already been pretty much ripped through over the decades here, so they're going after the new dollar in women, and that, again, comes back to people saying the only reason you're doing this, Roger Goodell, is not to basically care for problems, but you're doing it because you want to make sure that the female money continues to come into the game.
Well, A, it's the right thing to do, as I said earlier, and B, it's because you've got to get that representative group heard and looked at. And so the bottom line is, regardless of the motivations, it is in place now, and we'll see this starting to work gradually. It doesn't happen overnight. There's got to be a group of women who come out of those sports management programs, and they do, and now it'll be seriously looked at. I've got a helicopter over me, by the way, at Fisherman's Wharf here in San Francisco, so I'm not trying to evade your question. I just am looking at other things right now.
No problem. I know that your personal helicopter has to be there to whisk you away momentarily. I get it. It's
Correct.
okay. Let's talk about San Francisco then. There is always the money when it comes to a city that hosts a Super Bowl here. According to what I've seen, taxpayers in San Francisco on the hook for about $5 million in city services during Super Bowl week. And Rick, Andrew Zimbalist, whom we both know, a fine economist who always talks about the money at sports and events, he says there's no way you can make the money back. No way possible, no matter what you think you can do. Cities will always lose money at games like this. Do you agree or disagree?
I disagree with the boldness of that statement. There are certain areas where the economic impact is not as big as others. Super Bowl is not one of those areas. $300 to $500 million of economic impact. Your story would be about the hotels gouging people with the 4-night minimums, but the bottom line is people are here and they're spending money, and it may be $500 million. And those expenses they're talking about from the Super Bowl host committee, those will be paid off at times 100 with the economic impact that's brought in here. And by the way, I'm told by the host committee folks that there are a lot of other events that the Bay Area does that are picked up expenses routinely by the public sector. So it's not much ado about nothing, but it's just one of those arguments that's overshadowed by the economics.
We've got about a minute or so left here. Kenny Stabler, the announcement came out this week that when he died on July the 8th, he had stage 3 chronic traumatic encephalopathy, which is CTE basically. Now people are saying that the NFL's got to start paying more attention to this, and they simply have not been doing enough. Do you think that they are doing everything they can and they are sincere in moving ahead to make sure that these former stars and the stars of today are really and truly protected?
Well, I will tell you, Ed, as a guy who has, worked with the NFL for years and have just been around, they are as sincere as they possibly can be now. Not sure about 10, 15 years ago, and whether it's litigation or whether it's the right thing to do. They need to stay one step ahead of the evolving medical technology and the research. That's not always easy to do. but there are enough pressures right now to make sure that the NFL is incentivized to stay on top of it.
30 seconds, and of course, you know I'm going to ask you, who do you like in the game?
Panthers by 33, because Peyton Manning is older. Yeah, I know, it's a bold prediction. You understand that?
No, it's not a bold prediction. You suddenly left your senses behind by 33 points. Are you serious?
Well, all right, you and I offline, let's have another discussion with some wallets open.
Panthers by 33. You're going to stick to that?
I am going to stick to that.
Wow. I really didn't know that you started doing cocktails this early in San Francisco, but at least it's good to know that you can.
By the way, if there is a device to make you speechless, your people around you would agree. We're all for that.
Believe me, the only thing that will make me speechless is when they tell me that Rick can't make it today. Rick Horrow, always a pleasure, my friend. Thanks so much for joining us. Take care. Talk to you again next week. The Hardline continues.